We're live, Judge.
Send a reminder.
All right, is the Sheriff's Department looking for that document? Do we need?
Waiting for this to be on, but I think it's off.
We weren't able to find it.
Okay, no problem. Go back on Plan A. Back on the record on call 610-809 to the Texas versus Austin, Mitchell Scallon. And Ms. Morgan, I have a couple of questions with regard to your proposal that Mr. Scallon go to a commercial inpatient drug alcohol rehabilitation program.
Yes, sir.
What kind of substance are we dealing with on his felony probation?
I believe is it marijuana, Austin?
THC concentrate, Your Honor.
It's what? I'm sorry?
It's a marijuana concentrate, Your Honor.
But it's some form of marijuana. It's not like heroin or some methamphetamine, something like that.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay. Got you on that one. And then, Ms. Morgan, can you tell me the length of an inpatient program that you're talking?
Yes, sir. The new choices here in San Antonio is a minimum of 60 days. The sober partners in California is a minimum of 90 days. And I've my contact to both of them. Her name is Courtney, and she can facilitate transmission to both of them.
Okay, and when you say inpatient, my experience says that different facilities have different definitions of inpatient. Will they actually have Mr. Scallon inside some building and the doors will be locked and the windows are locked and he can't leave?
Yes, sir. He cannot leave.
Kind of like right now?
Kind of like right now. Yes.
Okay, Mr. Scallon, I got a question for you with your attorney's permission. I tried to send you to inpatient rehabilitation before, and apparently you refused to sign the document and you didn't want to go, I guess. Nobody wants to go, I think is where we're at. But I think Ms. Morgan indicated in conversations with me in the state, not during this hearing, that your mom is very concerned about you and wants you to participate in some sort of inpatient treatment. Would that be correct, Ms. Morgan?
Yes, and she might be that 956 number, that 935 number. She's supposed to be on this call.
Yes, I am.
Oh, hi. Go ahead and identify yourself for the record, if you would, ma'am.
Mary Christine Ibarra.
Okay, and are you the mother of Austin Mitchell Scallon?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and are you familiar with the problems he's having in the legal field with us, I guess, in Bexar County, primarily for his probation for driving while intoxicated? And then I don't know where the felony probation is. That in Bexar County also?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
It's to the
Okay, so you're familiar with all that.
Yes, sir.
I assume it's your insurance that would cover all this inpatient treatment that Ms. Morgan is referencing. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes, sir. It will.
In my experience, it's always incredibly expensive to get inpatient treatment in the real world. Are you sure your insurance is going to cover this for a period of 60 to 90 days?
Yes, I've talked to them and we've gone over everything. This is something I know that Austin really needs.
And who makes a decision on whether or not he gets out in 60 days or has to stay for 90 days?
From what I understand, the facility.
Okay. Are you familiar or have you spoken to Ms. Morgan about the fact that Bexar County has its own inpatient rehabilitation program?
Yes, I am familiar with that.
And initially basically I ordered Mr. Scallon to go to that and he refused to go. So my concern, I guess, is what's going to stop him from refusing to go to this other treatment?
So, Judge, and I'm not quite sure if back in June, if probation ever actually told, I'm not sure if he was ever told about that. You had sent me a text message regarding SATF, but I didn't know it was an official order. So I apologize if it looks like he snubbed his nose at the court.
I was never told anything from probation, Your Honor. With all due respect, I'm not.
Okay, so you were never told that I had ordered you to go to an inpatient drug rehabilitation program called SATF, Substance Abuse Treatment Facility?
Miss Morgan had mentioned it, but probation itself had never said anything.
Okay. So
my probation officer never said anything.
Did Miss Morgan tell you that I'd ordered that or was going to order that? I'm not sure.
I didn't know it was officially ordered. We had already finished the MTR by the time you sent me the text message, and I was asking for Scram to be waived. And then I didn't realize it was an official order that got entered.
I got you. No. All right. Well, I got it. State, do you have any questions for either Mr. Scallon's mom or Mr. Scallon or Miss Morgan on this patient business?
No, Judge. I just want to say that he gets the inpatient help that he needs.
I mean, we all, I think, agree. We all want Mr. Scallon to go to inpatient. I just want him to stay there long enough to where it might help him change the way he thinks about alcohol and drugs and whatnot. And we had already had a problem with that before, so that's my concern. Ms. Morgan, do you have any further questions for Mr. Scallon's mom
No, Judge.
or Mr. Scallon?
No, sir.
State anything further before I come up with a plan?
No, Judge.
All right, here's my options. Ms. Morgan, if I leave him on probation in Bexar County, I'm going to order him to 180 days of inpatient at the substance abuse treatment facility. He's going to have to stay in jail, is my understanding, for at least 4 weeks and maybe longer before he can go straight from the jail to SATA, where I ordered him to go before. So that being said, the other option is he gets revoked and he gets sentenced to, I guess, 6 months in the Bexar County jail. And I don't know if there is a quotient anymore about they get 2 for 1 or 3 for 1 or 1 for 1 or what it is. And I don't know, Mr. Maru or Ms. Gross, do you know if there's a current quotient on jail time?
Judge, it's sporadic. It's whatever that specific deputy or jailer is feeling at that moment.
Okay. Anyway, bottom line is, if Mr. Scallon wants to go to inpatient, I'm happy to send him there, but it's going to be my inpatient, not somewhere I have no control over what's going on. I've already given him a chance to go once and he didn't go. So, you know, he kind of burned his bridge with me as far as trusting Mr. Scallon to do anything that he said he's going to do. I think he's got a lot of potential. I think this drug thing is holding him back. But as everyone that is on this video knows, you got to change the way people think about drugs before they can actually change their life about it, because most people like them and stay on them. And that's kind of the problem we've had with Mr. Scallon. Do you want to go in a break room, Ms. Morgan, and chat with him and explain his 2 options? A, if he's willing to go to SATA, I'll send him there. It's going to be 180 days. He's going to stay in jail till he gets there. The other option is, I assume he's 6 months in the Bexar County jail, and that could be a full 6 months, or that could be 3 for 1. I don't know what it is. That's a gamble on my side as far as knowing how that works. Or have you already talked about that and you're ready to proceed?
We've talked about that, but can I just go chat with him one more time?
Yeah, absolutely. Pat, can you send them out to a chat room?
Ashley, y'all
Got it.
can go back to 1. Mr. Scallon, there should be a button where you should be able to go back to break room 1 and says join. Do you see it?
It should be at the bottom of your screen.
Bottom of the screen.
It's bottom right next to the leave button. You click that and then it says join breakout room.
If he's already been to a breakout room, it might just
There
have a
you
symbol.
go.
that-
There you go.
There you go. Okay.
Mr. Maru, do you need any more time to handle your home emergency, or is that taken care of already?
No, Judge, I kicked them out.
Okay.
They bring the fire marshals to come in here and make sure that all your alarms are working properly, because they have a bunch of addicts that like to take the smoke detectors out and apartments and stuff like that.
And we got
Hey,
Mr.
Pat.
back. We have,
Yes, ma'am.
Can you send mom into the break room?
Of course.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Do I need to get off YouTube again?
no, let's just wait, I guess. I don't think it's going to take very long.
Everyone
Okay.
behave themselves.
I'm pretty sure that Ms. Morgan's already clarified for him those were going to be his options anyway. She's done this a million times before.
And Judge, for the record, his fine is $200.
Was his underlying 6 months? Am I correct?
It might be-
180 days, yes, sir.
Buddy, hear me? Pat,
Yes, sir.
if you can hear me.
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
Okay.
Judge Barron, you look good on YouTube. Maybe we should get you a talk show.
I'm ready anytime you are on this pretrial issue. That- What's going on? Why are we all just staring at each other?
We're ready, Judge, when you're ready.
Okay, back on the record.
Quasi.
Clause number 610809, Theta, Texas versus Austin Mitchell Scallon. Defense counsel and defendant's mom went to a breakout room to chat. What would Mr. Scallon like to do, Ms. Morgan?
So, Judge, here's the issue that just got brought to my attention. I knew that there was a new charge in Colorado County. I just didn't realize he had a court date on January 25th for sentencing. So So there is a bond set. I'm wondering if I could set this for a contested hearing. I know that we've already pled true. If you would allow us to withdraw our plea of true, just so he doesn't get in more trouble. I think that he's going to end up doing the jail time when we come back.
Okay, we just went through a complete hearing and now we want a contested hearing. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yes, Judge.
Ms. Gross, how long would it take to be able to, I don't know what witnesses the probation department and the state would need. Y'all can chat about that. Who do we need and how long would it take to get them here?
Who are you gonna want, Nick?
Probation officer, right? If it's contested, I mean, I need everyone on the record. I need his probation officer.
I just need to send the officer a request for the court appearance. So that shouldn't be a problem, providing they're not on vacation. I could even see if they're available right now, if you want to do it right now.
Well, Judge, what I'm anticipating is that we can get, because there is a bond set, so I can get him out on bond so he can get to that sentencing. And then, because he's most likely to end up doing the jail time, plead true.
Well, I need to know from the probation department and the state how quickly we can have or how quickly they can be ready on this contested hearing. And Ms. Gross is saying they could be ready today. Is that correct, Ms. Gross?
Let me double check.
Sounds far-fetched, but okay.
She is at work. I could probably bring her in here right now.
And that would be Mr. Scallon's actual probation officer, is that correct?
Yes, that would be Officer Maines, but I have a concern with Miss Morgan's request. If we bond him out so that he can go to Colorado and get sentenced there, how long
Colorado,
will he be in
Not
jail
Colorado.
over there?
Colorado County, Texas, not Colorado State of.
Okay, well, Colorado County, if he goes and gets sentenced there, how long is he gonna be in jail there before we can bring him back to get sentenced here?
he'll be getting probation there. That's unless, if he shows up, he'll be getting probation there. So that's why I'm trying to keep him back on probation. Versus
Okay,
multiple.
let's do this. Let's take a break. I mean, we'll go on to do the other cases we have set today, but we'll hold short. I need to run this by our staff attorney, Ms. Bauman, and see what, I've never seen this happen before, with all due respect to all parties concerned. So,
Just because if he has a sentencing set January 25th, Judge.
say that again, please.
He's got a sentencing set January 25th. You'd already set a bond last week. Remember, you set a $5,000 bond plus
Never
ELM.
set a bond. I discussed setting a bond with you.
Oh, I thought the bond was set.
It was never set.
There's no bond set right now.
Correct. He's remanded without bond.
Okay.
And my position would be that if I can legally keep him remanded without bond until we can finish this hearing, that's what we're going to do, because I can't trust Mr. Scallon not to disappear again. That's the problem.
Would you consider going less on the time?
Less on the time?
Yes.
No, but I'll be happy to run it concurrent with whatever other time you get. What's the status of his felony probation? Is there an MTR on him on that, or do we know?
No, he's doing great on felony probation.
You doing good on the felony probation?
Yes, it's just your probation, Judge.
You know, I don't know what's going on, so you're gonna have to clarify this for us. What is his new charge in Colorado County, Texas?
It's allegedly tampering with evidence.
Do you have any idea what that means? What do they say he did?
I have no idea. I'm not on the case.
All
You
right.
just told me about it in the breakout room.
You represent him on that case?
No.
Okay, I got
Or
it.
else this would not be such a shock.
All right, well, here's what I suggest. Ms. Morgan, you can, I've given him two options. He can stay on probation and go to inpatient, just like he was requesting and his mom was requesting. Basically, we're starting all over again, going right back to where we were almost a year ago when I gave him that same option. He needed inpatient. I think everybody really agrees he needs inpatient now. He can get inpatient. That's a tactical decision on your part. You're requesting, he already entered a plea of true to condition 5. You're now requesting a contested MTR.
Let me go back in the breakout room and explain. I thought that the bond was already set.
I'm sorry, say all that again, please.
Let me go back in the breakout room. I thought the bond was already set.
No, there's no bond set, and there won't be a bond set if I can legally do that.
That's what I need to explain to him.
Okay, and also all parties concerned, I have communicated with the officer. She can jump in here at any time if we need her.
All
Okay,
right.
let's go back to the breakout room parties,
We're
please.
gonna go to a breakout room and then bring the officer on and have her on standby, ready to testify. Go ahead, Ms. Morgan.
I'm trying. I don't see that option, Pat.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna move you to 2. I think it'd be easier for me right now. Let me see. Okay, I'm gonna move y'all to 2. 1 is gone. I don't know why.
Judge, while they're doing that, is it possible to do another hearing? Or do we
Okay,
have to
you should be
finalize?
able to join 2.
Well, we're in a hearing right now. I'm sorry, are we gonna send Ms. Morgan and Mr. Scallon to a break room?
I sent them to 2. You should be able to go.
Okay. Ms. Morgan, do you want mom in there with you too?
Yes, please. I still don't see it.
It won't let me either.
And I anticipate that now that there's not a bond set, we're gonna get this wrapped up, Judge.
Okay, fair enough.
You're gonna be looking for Teresa Minez to come in. I just sent her the link.
Okay.
It's just going back and forth. They're exchanging. Move to there you go. Yes, ma'am. Do you see now? Yes?
For Ash,
Do you see 2 yet? Because I put y'all in there. I don't know. You should be able to go in there.
There's no option for me yet.
It says room. Y'all are in 2. I don't know.
Did you click the same button down at the bottom by the leave? There's a button right next to the leave button to the left of it, down at the bottom. You can click it and then it says join breakout room and you can click that. See it?
Okay, let me try. There you go. Yes.
It worked. Sort of worked. Mr. Scallon is still with us.
There you go.
And Ash, let me go to 2. There you go. Okay. All right, they're gone.
Just a heads up, I had no idea that this was going to be a contested hearing. I have not had time to prepare or anything like that. And, you know, I would like to get my 10 days that's given to me by statute, at least to prepare. I had no idea that this was coming. So,
Understand?
okay.
Best I can tell, the only real issue is whether this guy reported or not, and his probation officer can testify he didn't, and that's it. But, you know, just me being simple.
I just don't want to get sandbagged over here and then.
You get your 10 days. You can
Okay.
sit where you're sitting, and we'll have the actual hearing in 10 days if that's what we need to do.
Sounds good, Judge.
It's a law thing, Mr. Vasquez. You probably wouldn't know anything about that.
Not on something like that. I was always ready regardless of the time frame.
Oh, come on now.
Pat, has she appeared yet?
I don't see Miss Minez yet, but when she gets here, we're just going to tell her she's going to be on stage.
Yeah.
You know what? Never mind, Judge. Because of that Paul Vasquez comment, I'm going to go right into it. We got this.
See, there you go. There you go, Nick.
My goal in life is to never let Paul Vasquez let me look stupid. So, all right.
Be careful. You're on YouTube, so any of these idols running, they come back to haunt you. Nothing, Mr. Vasquez, I can tell you that.
I'm already in line.
That's what you said. You're in meeting.
Okay, we've got Ms. Morgan back. I don't see Mr. Scallon yet.
Judge, we're ready. We're gonna take the jail time.
Okay. Okay, we got Mr. Scallon back. Do we have Mr. Scallon's mom back yet?
She had to go back to work. I'll call her after, but thank you.
Back on the record on call 610809, Theta, Texas versus Austin Mitchell Scallon. Defense, you just notified the court and the parties and the state and the CSCD department that you were requesting a contested hearing, and now my understanding is you want to withdraw your request for contested hearing. Is that correct?
That's correct, Judge. I thought there was a bond set and Mr. Scallon would make it to another court appearance,
Okay.
but you know.
So that being said, I had made the offer to Mr. Scallon that we could keep him on probation, and he would have to attend inpatient with the substance abuse treatment facility for 180 days, which was basically what he was going to do several months ago, and before we lost him. And either that or he would be revoked, and you get his 6 months in the Bexar County Jail. And I didn't know what the sentencing quotient was, and I still don't. So you're telling me that he would like to be revoked and take the jail sentence, and we'll run it concurrent with any other cases he may have. Would that be correct?
Which I believe the court stipulated would be 180 days.
Correct. All right. Mr. Scallon, in clause number 610809, the court accepts your plea of true to conditions 2, and in this case would be 2A and 2B. No, it's just 2. On the motion to revoke community supervision, I grant the state's motion to revoke community supervision. Pursuant to your request in wanting to be sentenced instead of stay on probation and go to inpatient treatment, I sentence you to 6 months in the Bexar County Jail. It says a $200 fine plus court costs, credit for time served, time and money to run concurrent. Anytime he's had in jail in Colorado County or anywhere else is going to apply on this, as far as I'm concerned. So I don't know what time. I know he's been in jail for plus or minus a week before we had this hearing. Do we
Yes,
have?
sir.
I think, Ms. Morgan, you're going to have to get me cause numbers out of Colorado County or wherever else he has a case, and we'll run it concurrent. I don't have those in front of me, but I'll be happy to do that.
All right, I'll get that.
If I may, I believe the defendant pled true to 5A and B.
Oh, you're right. 5A and B. I apologize. Is that correct, Ms. Morgan?
Yes, sir.
5A and B. Okay, so that's taken care of. We're going to run a CC once we get that number. If you would just, you've got my cell number, just text me or whatever with the case number, Ms. Morgan.
I will.
Run a CC with that.
Is it all right?
I have one question. Ms. Gross, did
Yes.
Mr. Scallon ever turn in his Smart Start mobile device, or is that still around somewhere?
That I don't know. All I know is that it was written off on June 29th.
Hey, Mr. Scallon, do you still have this Smart Start mobile device we can return to the manufacturer?
Yes, I have it.
Would you make sure you get it to your attorney and she can get it to us? We'll get it back.
Yes.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Anything further from the state of the,
Miss Morgan, can I talk to you in the breakout room?
Pat, I need to go back to a breakout room. Where's Pat?
Thank you, Judge. It's been delightful as always.
Oh, there she is.
Okay, who needs to?
Mr.
Ellen,
Scallon, Mr. Scallon,
And again, okay.
they should be able to move themselves back. It shouldn't be an issue.
They should be able to go back into 2.
Yes, there should be a button down next to the leave button that you can click.
Mr. Scallon, you should be able to go into it. Mr. Scallon,
There you
there
go.
you go.
I think, are we good, Judge? Did they I don't think there was anything further.
I don't know what they're doing. We have to wait for them and find out. I guess. Or we can drive on. Let's see. Okay, Judge Barron, you still with us?
Yes.
You're still there. You're on the cruise ship.
I believe that's the Titanic, Your Honor.
And I think they both left. I do. I think, oh no, there's Mr. Scalon. I don't know.
Oh, I was just making sure I'm done here.
You're,
You're done. I believe. Judge?
Hang on until this Morgan gets back.
She had left the breakout room, so that's why I didn't know if she had just left.
I think Miss Morgan left because it shows her not being in the meeting anymore.
she's
Scallon,
gone.
Morgan left.
She's gone, Your Honor, I believe.
Yeah, I think she left.
All right. Good luck to you, Mr. Scallon.
Mr.
Thank you.
Scallon, look for the paperwork. See if you can sign it still.
I'll ask though. They've been looking for it and they haven't seen it.
Okay. All
Okay.
right, thank you. But it was sent. Thank you.
Okay, Judge Barron, you still with us? It says you are.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm
And
here.
are you ready to take up your case on with?
Absolutely.
Bob, can you hear?
Hello? Yeah,
Judge-
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Are you ready to go forward on this
Hello?
case?
Yes.
This is cause number 610493, State of Texas versus Carlos Perez. This initially was a first amended motion to revoke community supervision. My understanding is that motion, that MTR rather, was heard on November 24th, 2020 in the Bexar County Jail Court. And I assume it was heard by Judge Shelton. Would that be accurate?
I believe that's correct, Judge.
And at
That's
that,
correct.
Judge Shelton denied the
It
motion.
is correct.
And I wasn't there, so I don't know what happened, but denied the motion and continued Mr. Perez on probation with the understanding that he would attend the substance abuse treatment facility inpatient rehabilitation program. Is that correct, Judge?
That's correct.
Okay. And then when the probation department and Ms. Gross found out what was going on, they also found out that Mr. Perez has a pending felony case in Bexar County. Is that correct, Judge Barron?
Well, yeah, he had that prior to that.
I understand.
Hearing.
But my understanding is, and Ms. Gross will have to throw in here, that if a defendant has a pending felon, or actually any other pending cases, they're not eligible for SATF. Would that be accurate, Ms. Gross?
Yes, Your Honor, that is correct.
All right. So we're telling,
He was,
go ahead, Judge Barron.
he was awaiting a bed. Yeah, he was awaiting a bed anyway because they said it would be several weeks. I can try to work something out on the felony. But the odd thing is we have the BAC results, but the last time I talked to Jason Wolf, he did not have the police reports. So in a kind of a turn of things where usually it's the other way around, that was the issue that back then. But right now, Judge, what we're asking for is some relief. He's being ordered to be on scram for pretrial in 437th, and he's ordered to be on Smart Start Mobile for you in the County Court 6, and it's just a severe financial hardship for him.
Well, let me back up a minute and let me ask Ms. Gross to come in and clarify for the record and for all the parties and the DA and me exactly what the status of Mr. Perez probation is, because I didn't hear this case initially. So I'm not up on all the who, what, when, where, why. So Ms. Gross, would you mind clarifying for us what the status of Mr. Perez probation is in cause number 610493?
Yes, Judge, give me one moment. I just got a message from the officer that was going to come in for Mr. Scallon. I need to tell her she does not need to appear. One moment, please. Thank you, Your Honor. I appreciate that. Okay, Mr. Perez, at the time of his last motion to revoke hearing that was held in the Bexar County Jail, as you stated, on November 24th, the information that was presented at that hearing, I will give you the same information. He has not performed well on probation in that he missed 1 year of reporting. He's awaiting indictment on a third DWI, which is a felony. He's only paid $100 on his fees. He has a balance of $1,219. He's made no effort to do any of his 60 hours of community service. He failed to submit to drug testing the one time. We have no proof of enrollment or completion of the DWI education, victim impact panel, CAT-SNP program, DWI intervention program. He did complete a TAP evaluation. At this time, he is not on any devices for your court, as the judge in the jail court gave him 30 days in which to obtain the devices. We did recommend that his probation be revoked due to the fact that this is his third violation report and his third motion to revoke. His priors do include driving while intoxicated with an open container, driving while license invalid, driving while license invalid, driving while intoxicated, possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1, less than 1 gram. This case, and then of course he is awaiting indictment for a new DWI, and we are recommending revocation.
All right, let me take you back to the hearing that was held at the jail court on November 24th, 2020. You have in your records how Mr. Perez pled at that time?
Yes, I do. And I believe I sent you the same information. According to the court officer that was there that day, the defendant pled true to violating condition number 15. That's 1-5.
Okay. Judge Barons, what is your recommendation on Mr. Perez? I can't get him into inpatient.
Well, again, as far as I know, not here on an active motion to revoke probation. As far as I know, all the allegations that are to be had have been heard as of November 20th.
Judge Barons, I apologize.
Or waived.
Bob, I got to stop you there. I cannot understand you. You're breaking up on me. I don't know what the cause is. Please start over.
I don't know. I keep getting disconnected myself. Can you hear me?
Not very well.
Can you hear me?
You get near a microphone?
I'm talking right into it.
All right, go ahead. Just do it slowly, please.
Well, like I said, all the allegations have been heard or waived in hearing as of November 24th. All we're here for, in my understanding, is whether or not Mr. Perez can have permission to have his pretrial condition of scram in the 437th run concurrent and satisfy your condition of Smart Start, current condition of Smart Start Mobile, because he can't afford both.
Okay, that's not what we're here for, but that is an issue. If he were to be kept on probation, I can fix that very quickly. My concern is that because I can't get him into inpatient, there's no reason to keep him on probation.
Well, there's no active violations either, so there's no grounds to revoke him. And the fact that, as I was trying to say earlier, maybe you weren't able to hear, Judge, I was trying to say that I could talk to Jason Wolf and see about getting that case closed out. But the last I spoke to him a couple of weeks ago, he was still waiting on police reports. We had the blood alcohol evidence, but for some reason he didn't have the reports. So I can contact him again and see if he's got them and we can work out some kind of deal.
Here's my issue. Basically, the sentence that was rendered for Mr. Perez by Judge Shelton is certainly not an illegal sentence. It's just not a valid sentence from the standpoint that it's not workable and can't be done.
Well, it can be if he resolves his felony case.
Yeah, but right now, as we speak, his felony case is not resolved, is it?
Not as of this moment. But that doesn't mean it can't be resolved before a bed is available for Mr. Perez.
And how long do you anticipate before you can get a finite answer to that question?
Well, I guess probation would be better suited to answer that than I would, Judge.
No, we have nothing to do with no cases. That's between you and the district attorney's office, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about I thought the judge was talking about the bed in SATF, how long that was going to take. Or were you
No.
talking about resolving the felony, Judge?
I'm talking about we can't get him into SATA. And I understand you're telling me in a perfect world, you could get the felony dismissed and then we could get him into SATA. That's kind of what you're
No,
saying.
I'm not saying to get dismissed. I'm saying I could plead him out on that.
I can't even put him on the list to be considered to go to SATF due to the fact he has a pending felony. And based on his criminal history, when the original recommendation was made, we recommended revocation. The defendant has not performed well on probation, and now he's picked up another one, and he's not able to go to SATF. He was not eligible to go to SATF on the day that he appeared in jail court. So basically, we're here for within the 30-day time period for a resentencing or reconsideration. To figure,
I didn't file a motion for a reconsideration.
excuse me, I'm not done yet.
Well,
In order for him to be considered and to go to SATF, he has to have a clear record. So right now, we cannot even do anything in regards to signing documents or putting him into SATF or anything like that. They will not consider it because he is not eligible with a pending case.
all right, Judge, can I have a few days so I can try to contact Mr. Wolf tomorrow to see what the status is, if he's got his evidence, and if he does, I can ask him what the offer is going to be and see if we can get a plea entered ASAP, and then we can get Mr. Pettis.
Judge Barons, how about this? How about we reset this case right where we are right now? We just stop what we're doing and reset it for 2 o'clock in the afternoon on this coming Thursday, which I guess is what, the 17th? Would that give you enough time to do what you need to do?
Well, certainly give me enough time to contact him. As far as if we're going to enter a plea and all that, I don't know if we'll be able to do it that quickly, but
you can get something.
The other concern, like I say, is
I know that's all right. Well,
sorry.
Tentatively right now, let's do that. And I understand that you don't have any control over what the DA does, but let's find out. And Mr. Maru, if you would kind of throw in here and contact the felony prosecutor and see if there's a possibility of him working a deal that Mr. Perez could still go to SATF, that would be a wonderful thing.
Judge, I reached out to the felony prosecutors in the 437th last Friday on the 11th, and I still have not heard anything back. And I just copied and pasted the same email and sent it again. Still haven't heard anything back. Apparently, the new protocol is they have 24 hours to get back to us, but apparently the 437th isn't abiding by those protocols.
Well, I will call Judge Wolf myself and ask him if he can look into it, because he's who I've been dealing with on this anyway.
I probably have Judge Wolf's cell number if you need it. Just
I do.
contact me after or I'll text you. How's that?
No, I have a judge. That's how I contacted him the first time.
All right. So let's just reconvene at 2 o'clock this Thursday, unless something comes up, and then I'll make a decision based on whatever comes up. Is that okay with you, Judge Barron?
Sure.
I agree with the defense. I would love for Mr. Perez to go to SATF. I just don't have a viable way to do it under the conditions we have now.
Understood.
All right. So let's we'll same sign
Maybe
in
I can
on Thursday at 2, unless you call me before you got my cell number.
Okay.
All right.
This same sign in from today?
Same sign in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's always our same sign in.
All right.
All right. Mr. Perez and Judge Barons are. You want to talk to him in the chat room before you go, Bob? I guess he went.
It's gone.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Perez. We'll be talking to you again either on Tuesday at 2 or before that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thursday at 2.
Okay.
Okay. And did we ever hear back from Mr. Doe? Did they find him, or did we not hear back from him?
Mr. Doe has COVID. They're not going to bring him down.
I got you. All right. Hear that. And that one. Okay, Mr. Garza, Mr. Vasquez.
Yes, Your Honor.
We are ready, and this is going to be a lot easier than your other hearings.
All right, all good. Cause number 622-928, Alejandro Garza. This is a motion to revoke community supervision. Mr. Garza and Mr. Vasquez, the attorney for Mr. Garza. I have two documents in front of me that purport to have each of your signatures on. The first document is entitled Defendant's Consent to a MTR Hearing by Video Conference. And the second document is Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, which is marked as a revocation of the defendant's community supervision. And the defendant has the right to appeal the court's action revoking the community supervision, but not the underlying conviction. Mr. Garza, is this your signature on each of these documents, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Vasquez, is this your signature on each of these documents?
It is.
Thank you. My understanding is this is uncontested motion to revoke probation. Representing the state is Mr. Nicholas Maru. Representing the Bexar County CSCD is Ms. Susan Gross, who I remind is still under oath, and representing the defendant in this particular case is Mr. Paul Vasquez. On the motion to revoke probation, have Mr. Garza plead.
Judge, we'll plead true to the amended motion if you want to go with violation condition number 15, or however you want to do it.
And I don't know that I even have a copy of an amended motion. Let's see.
If you don't, Judge, we can go with number 14.
I got you. All right. So true to 14 with an explanation, I'm sure. And what is the status, Ms. Gross, of Mr. Garza's probation?
Judge, his reporting has been good. He missed his first month of reporting. However, we did see him November 16th of 2020. His case is paid in full. He's not completed any of his 40 hours of community service. He's had 3 positive drug tests for marijuana, 2 diluted drug tests. He's completed DWI education, victim impact panel, stress class, drug effect education program. However, we have no proof of completion of the CAT-SNP program. He's currently testing on Smart Start Mobile at 6 times a day. Since October 21st of 2020, he's missed a total of 38 tests. Apparently there was an agreement with the parties that he be continued on probation if he provided proof of his DWI education, CAT-SNP, and proof of employment, and he paid in full by today. We do not have a completion slip for CAT-SNP, and we have no proof of employment. And then if all of that was provided, the officer was going to recommend weekly UAs and an additional 20 hours of community service. However, he did not comply with that agreement that was made with ADA Wright, and therefore we are going to recommend revocation.
I think Susan wasn't updated by Jeff on what we're doing. I just forwarded Jeff's email to Nick for him to review. I thought I had attached you, Susan, yesterday to all of the certificates and the money's being paid. I forwarded everything over to Jeff that shows he's completed all his classes. All monies have been paid. There's nothing left for him to do. And then Jeff's offer, which we accepted, obviously subject to the court's approval, he was just going to give him JSAT with 66 days. Like I said, I forwarded that email just to Nick. Nick, if you can verify that you received it.
Yeah, I'm going through it right now.
Okay. 66 JSAT, that's good for me.
But he has done everything, Judge. I mean, he's completed everything. He's paid all money.
Yeah, and I have notes from Jeffrey in the case file stating that this agreement, defense counsel provided proof of payment of all fees and completion of classes. Recommend grant, revoke, 66 days, Bexar County Jail.
Let me back up. Mr. Vasquez, when you're on the record talking about Jeff, you're talking about Mr. Jeffrey Wright, who is our other ADA. Is that correct?
That is correct, Judge.
Okay. And Pat, my information says he has 10 days jail credit. Where are we coming up with 66 days? I guess is my question.
Well, I think that's the number that we thought that he had. Whatever it was going to be, it was going to be for JSAT. The number we thought was 33 days in. And so that's where he got the 66.
Yes, sir. He only has 10 days according to the system.
Do you know of any other time we're talking about, Mr. Vasquez? Where did y'all get from 10 days to 6?
I thought it was 33 days. That's where Jeff came up with the 66. But if, I mean, if we want to do
What
20,
if you go to jail? Do you recall how much time you spent in jail on this case? Various times.
Yes, sir. I had 33 days.
32.
Oh, 32. I think the day that they released me just doesn't
Your Honor,
count.
I can check again right now. I can check right now.
And Paul, I've reviewed your email and everything else. I do not find any proof of completion of CATSNP.
I'm going to forward it to you right now.
Or
It was-
proof of them. Yeah, you sent me a bunch of scram receipts and a paid in full receipt.
Oh,
but
there
I
was
didn't-
one. There was another email before that one.
I guess I didn't get that one.
Let me see if this one's it. Yep, I just sent it.
All right.
It's going to be the third attachment on that email, Susan.
It hadn't come through yet.
Your Honor, I just checked right now and it only shows 10 days, Your Honor.
22 days apparently somewhere. Hey, Mr. Garza, were you ever in jail not in Bexar County, like you were in some other county and they put you in jail on this case?
No, sir. I was only Bexar County.
Well, best I can tell, we're dealing with 10 days. I don't think that's
Okay. I mean, if we just want to do 20 days and JSAT, I mean, we're fine with that.
And bear with me because this is the first I've heard about this deal. What exactly has Mr. Garza done and not done on his probation right now that we didn't know about before?
It looks, I believe the only thing left for him, but Susan can verify, is community service hours, I believe.
Paul, I just looked at all those documents. None of them are for CATSNP.
I'm looking at the CATS.
You're looking at CATS.
Completion for CATS.
You're looking at anger management from CATS, and then the other one from CATS is the, or actually, there's only one from CATS, and it was for the anger management stress class. There's no CATSNP.
I mean, I have the workbook and everything. I paid for it.
How many?
I guess that would be it, Judge. I guess we're just missing the certificate from the CATSNP and community service hours. That's all that's left.
Hey, Mr. What we're talking about is the Community Alliance for Traffic Safety New Intervention Program, which is our outpatient drug program. And it takes what? 6 weeks, Susan? 3 hours a week for 6 weeks or something? 2 hours a week?
It's 16 hours.
All right. Do you recall going to that course, Mr. Garza?
Yes, sir. I did it via Zoom, but they something happened during halfway through the Zoom meeting. They switched it to in person only.
So I think what he's saying, Judge, is I think after the 6th session, it was all up Zoom from 1 to 6, and then 7 and 8 they switched over to in person.
Okay.
Is that,
did you go to
is that
those?
right, Alejandro?
You said, excuse me, I'm sorry, I had a phone call.
Did you go to those
How many
last
sessions?
classes?
Yeah, I was already halfway done through the sessions, and then I had all the screenshots of I did the first session, second, third, fourth session, and what was the name? Della Garza from the CATSNP program. Out of nowhere told me that I was never on the list, so I sent them the screenshots, and they haven't gone back to me yet. I've already paid for all my classes. I've done all my other classes with them with no problem, but as soon as they switched from Zoom to in person, I guess they forgot about me.
Okay. And you never went over there to tell them, hey, I got to finish this.
Yeah. Yeah. I finished my last class over there, and they still haven't gone back to me yet. Mr. Dean? Mr. Dean? Yeah, I know. I talked to him personally.
So how many classes did you do via Zoom?
All of them, except for.
That's not an answer. How many classes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How many did you do on Zoom?
2 out of the 5 classes that I had been signed up for.
Okay, well, it's 8 classes long. So how many did you do in person and how many did you do on Zoom?
I did 4 on Zoom, and then the 5th session or the 4th session, that's when they told me that I wasn't on the list and to report that I was going to start reporting in person. But if I'm not on the list, you know, I ended up reporting to another class in person, talking to them about it. They wanted the screenshots because they didn't want to put me back into the class because they didn't.
Okay, so you haven't finished the class.
Oh, and of course not. I mean, it was supposed to be finished. I was already halfway done, and then they switched it to in person, and they want me to provide with screenshots. I provided it to them. They haven't gotten back to me.
And when did you provide that information?
About a week ago. And I contacted them in person. I've been in person 2-3 weeks ago.
All right, Judge, so apparently
So that's
we're
what we have
missing
left.
half a cat snip and all 40 hours of community service. And
I can pay the community
That's
service
on
if you
Smart
want me
Start.
to as well. But as far as the cat snip, I'm waiting for the program to get back at me because they don't have things sorted out too well. I understand how everything's going.
Nick, what do you want to do with Mr. Vasquez? I'm sorry, Mr. Garza. I know what I want to do with Mr. Vasquez, but you know.
Judge, I'm kind of in a difficult position because it looks like that an agreement was struck between him and Jeffrey that obviously I want to honor Jeffrey's agreement. I tried reaching out to him just right now, but he's on docket in County Court 8. So
My understanding is Jeffrey's agreement is based on Mr. Garza having completed all the programs, and apparently he still has cat snip to finish. Is that more or less accurate, Mr.?
Our agreement was based on the emails that I have forwarded to Susan that were given to Jeff. I haven't added any new information. I haven't hid anything. All the information I gave Jeff is what he based his decision on.
And it appears that that agreement included that he be completed with cat snip and provide proof of employment, and we don't have proof of employment, and he did not finish
No,
cat.
that was an old email, Susan. That was before I sent him all of the other information.
well,
Okay.
it says Monday. It says here Monday, December 14th, which was yesterday, correct?
Yes.
That is when Jeff sent me that email.
Well, that is when you also told him he has 2 sessions left on cat snip.
All right, everybody stop talking for a second, please. In the nicest possible way, I'm not going to go along with the agreement, but I think we have 2 other options. If Mr. Garza wants to get revoked, I'm going to give him 6 months instead of a year. I could give him, if he doesn't want to get revoked and stay on probation, I'll let him do that. He's going to have to go on the scram bracelet. If he does well on that for at least 30 days, we'll talk again. But people that missed 38 tests on the Smart Start mobile, which is why I had to order scram on him, then he refused to get the scram is what I'm being told. So if he's willing to pay the price and do those things, we'll leave him on probation, let him finish all these programs really, truly, and we go from there. If he gets everything done, we're going to have to extend him, I guess, right, Susan? Didn't he have a year from January?
Yes, he expires on January 28th, but I don't know what Cat's schedule is. He may be able to complete those last 2 classes. And if he got scram before the end of the week, then he would be able to have his 30 days on scram.
So that's what I was going to suggest, Judge.
I'm sorry. Is he on? Let me talk, please. Let me talk. He's not on scram currently. That's what I thought. Susan, do you think he's on scram?
No.
Okay, what were you saying?
If you continue him today and he gets the scram before Friday and he gets over to Cats and gets everything settled up with them, he should be able to spend a full 30 days on scram and complete those last 2 classes before his expiration date, which is on January 28th, because it's greater than 30 days from today.
Gotcha. Mr. Vasquez, you want to go in a breakout room and talk to Mr. Garza and see what's
No,
all?
we've talked about that. He's okay with getting the scram. He'll have everything done, but there's no reason to extend him.
Okay. Fair enough. And Mr. Murray, is that okay with you?
That's me, Judge.
All right. Mr. Garza, in clause 622-928. The court accepts your plea. True to condition 14 with an explanation. I deny the state's motion to revoke your probation or to continue on probation with all prior requirements. and no sanction at this time, although I have the authority to put you in jail for 30 days to get your attention. Will that be necessary, sir?
No, sir.
All right, good answer. You need to complete every program you haven't completed, which best I can tell right now is the CATSNP program. Susan, would you agree?
CATSNP, 40 hours of community service, and then now you're implementing the SCRAM device, and I would say to obtain that within 5 days.
You need to get the SCRAM device active within 5 days. Are you still on a Smart Start mobile device? Are you on any device?
Yes, sir. I'm on that Smart Start mobile.
Are you blowing into it? Because they're telling me at some point you stop blowing into it.
No, I've been blowing every single day. It's just the medication that I be taking now. I've had seizures this past July when I was on probation. I don't know if it's because of the noise that it makes, but I've been to the hospital multiple times. I've already had EEGs. I've had multiple doctor's appointments. I'm on medication that puts me to sleep. I'm on.
Garza, let's stop you there. I apologize for interrupting. Tell me again about your medical situation because I missed that in the first pass. What's going on with your medical situation?
I had seizures. I had 2 seizures in 1 month, in the month of July. One in the beginning with the first week, and then the second one was a couple of days before my birthday on the 23rd. So I had to go on 90 days, no seizure. So I got fired. I was already on furlough from my job. So at that point I was 90 days from my job. I couldn't work. They wanted me to go back to my job on July 23rd. But my 90 days wasn't up yet to perform my duty. So now I'm back at my job. My 90 days is up. But I have a hold on my license until January 27th. And then this coming Thursday, I was trying to, get my license, get this, whole thing settled and be done with. Though I get my license and not lose my job. But this Thursday I'll lose my job if I don't have my license. I've already been to the DMV. They told me that the judge has to, let off at least a to and from work license. So that's what's been going on. That's why I've been missing. I haven't blown dirty. I think that's the whole ordeal why I'm on probation is because I was driving while intoxicated, and I feel like I've abided and done successful in all my payments and my classes, and not had any dirty tests.
Do I have you on a GPS device right now or not?
Yeah, it should be the mobile sports should have a GPS.
Are you on an ankle bracelet right now?
No, but I was on it for 2 months. I did 2 months on.
So bear with me, and I apologize. This is going to get personal. Have you always had this seizure problem, or is this a brand new thing? Why are you having seizures? Do the docs know?
No, this just started in the month of July. I've never had this happen to me before.
Wow. And then where are you working, sir?
Firestone Complete Auto Care.
Okay. Any questions based on mine, State?
No, Judge.
Defense?
Just real quickly, a majority of the blows that he was missing was the midnight and 4 a.m. blows. That's why he brought up the medication he was on, puts him to sleep, and he just doesn't wake up. So so the scram, he's okay with the scram because he knows he's not drinking. And so that I just want to let you know that the reason he's missing those numbers of blows at 12 and 4 is due to that very reason, is that he just can't wake up.
Okay, give me some kind of letter from a doctor if that is still a problem. With scram on, it shouldn't be a problem because whether he's
scram would be okay.
Monitor what's going on, right?
Right.
Okay. No, the scram will not be a problem.
So best I can tell from the information y'all are providing me, he needs to immediately call CAT, Community Alliance for Traffic Safety, get back on their radar, finish up the 2 classes he needs or whatever classes he needs to get that finished. If he's got community service left to do, he can donate $10 an hour to a court charity, which is primarily wounded warrior organizations or family violence prevention organization, and get that knocked out and show me a clean month of scram without any problems. And the probability is he can go ahead and terminate on time successfully. Would that be equitable to both sides? Okay with you?
Yes, Judge.
All right. Okay with you, defense?
Yes.
Okay with you, Mr. Garza?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mostly you just need to finish doing what you've already started doing, and no marijuana. You had 3 hits positives for marijuana. CATSNP should address that. If I give you a UA right now, are you going to test positive for marijuana?
For CBD, yes. There might be a little bit of marijuana just because of the seizures. I don't want to have no more seizures.
31 days from now, I'm going to test you. Okay? And if you're
All right.
positive for marijuana, then all bets are off. Your attorney will explain what's going to happen at that point. Right
That's
now, if you test positive for marijuana, I understand. You've been truthful with us, and that's okay. But in 31 days, you shouldn't have any marijuana in your system if you're not smoking. Do we understand each other, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that okay with you, Mr. Vasquez? Does that sound fair?
Fair.
All right. Anything further of the state of the defense of Mr. Garza? He's staying on probation. He's got all the same requirements he had before, except I'm adding scram. Susan, do we need weekly reporting UA?
No, Your Honor, not if you're gonna test them in 31 days.
Any other programs we need, Susan, or anything else that we need to consider at this time?
No, I'd just like to give the defendant some instructions, please.
Sure, go ahead.
Judge, if we can get an order to remove or at least
Hold
switch
that
over
thought.
from.
That's what I'm gonna talk about,
Oh,
Paul.
okay.
Mr. Garza, we're gonna sign all your paperwork and it will be emailed to you probably tomorrow, okay? And if you don't get it from your officer tomorrow, then you need to call your officer because your officer is the one that's going to send your referral for the Scram device. Once that referral is at Scram, you'll go get it. And once you prove to your officer that you have a Scram device, then we will remove your Smart Start mobile device, okay?
All right.
As far as community service goes, your officer can also give you a list of locations that are eligible for making a donation at $10 an hour. And you have 40 hours to do. So you can either work them or you can make a donation for them. Okay. So,
Okay, and as far as my license, can Judge, could you release my license?
Is this
Oh,
a
I don't
driver's
lose-
license we're talking about?
It's a driver's license,
Yeah.
Judge. I'll talk to him about it. It's through DPS.
I don't mind authorizing an occupational license if that becomes necessary.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all I need for work.
All right, you have to talk to your attorney about what that's going to cost and how quickly that can happen. But I'll be happy to give you one of those if that's what becomes necessary.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
all right. So if you don't hear from your probation officer by noon tomorrow, give Miss Olmos a call and remind her that you need the paperwork to go get your Scram device. As soon as we get done here today, I would get on the phone and get back into CatSnip, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
And he also, does he know who to call to get a Scram appointment?
That's what I just told him, Judge. He can't.
Yeah, I'm
until
sure
the
it's the
order is
RMS
sent.
building, isn't it?
We're good. Anything further from the state of the defense?
Nothing further.
No, Judge.
Good luck, Mr. Garza. Thank you.
All
Mr.
right, thank you.
Okay, last but not least, I got Mr. Shepard and Mr. Sherman. Are we all still here?
Yes, sir.
Clause number 612944, State of Texas versus Charles D. Shepard. Representing the defense is Mr. Kirk Sherman. Representing the state is Mr. Nick Maru. Representing the Bear County CSD is Ms. Susan Gross, who our mind is still under oath. My understanding is this is an uncontested motion to revoke probation. I have two documents for Mr. Shepard and Mr. Sherman to identify for me. One is entitled Defendant's Consent to MTR Hearing by Video Conference, and the second one is entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, which is currently marked as a revocation of the defendant's community supervision. And the defendant has the right to appeal the court's action revoking the community supervision, but not the underlying conviction. Mr. Shepard, is this your signature on each of these documents, sir?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Sherman, as attorney for Mr. Shepard, is this your signature on each of these documents, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. On the motion to revoke community supervision, how does Mr. Shepard plead?
He pleads true, Judge.
All right. What's the status of Mr. Shepard's probation, Ms. Gross?
Judge, since being placed on probation, Mr. Shepard has missed a total of 2 months. We last saw him on November 24th of 2020. His case is paid in full. He has completed all 80 hours of his community service and had 11 negative drug tests. He completed his stress education class, does have a new case pending, which is identical to the one that he's on probation for, unlawful carrying of a weapon. As a result, we are recommending revocation.
Defense, what are you requesting?
Your Honor, given, I want the court to stay focused on, not that you wouldn't, stay focused on the fact he's done most of everything with probation. Unfortunately, my client did possess a weapon. He had bought it and was told by the people that were releasing it to him that he was clear to carry a weapon. He errantly believed that that would authorize what he did. If I may ask Mr. Shepard a question.
Sure.
Mr. Shepard.
Yes, sir.
Is that accurate, what I have paraphrased in the defense here?
Yes, sir. I would not have had another weapon if I wouldn't have been able to buy it legally. When I bought it, they did the background check and they said that it came back that I was cleared to have the weapon. That's why I bought it.
And that's his defense, Your Honor. He's not denying anything. And he has performed very well on probation. And I will try and negotiate the other case as quickly as possible.
Hey, Mr. Shepard, did not one of the probation officers, when they read you your requirements, tell you couldn't have any weapons? Isn't that one of the things they told you?
Yes, sir. I wouldn't have had the weapon. The last time that I spoke with the probation officer, we were waiting on the paperwork to come back from you as far as the signing the early determination. Throughout that time frame, I called as it got closer and closer. They said that I was up for early determination as of November, October, November. I called, and the last time I spoke with her was late July, early August. The last thing that we said was we were waiting for the paperwork to come back as far as to being released off the early determination. As far as to purchasing the other weapon, I went to a gun show and they did a background check on me. Now, if the background check would have came back that I couldn't have gotten with, I wouldn't have gotten it. But because they said that it did clear, I was under the impression that, okay, well then he did sign it. It's just a matter of waiting for the paperwork to come in.
Mr. Shepard, are you currently working somewhere?
Yes, sir. I actually work for All My Son's moving company. I had a son in March. Take care of my son and the girlfriend. I got an apartment. I worked. I made sure I paid everything off. I'm not really. That's all I do is work and be at home with my son.
Ms. Gross, does Mr. Shepard have any prior offenses?
No, just the pending unlawful carrying, Your Honor.
Okay, state recommendation.
Judge, I just have a few questions, and I don't know if Kirk will allow me to speak to his client or not.
Sure. Go ahead, please.
I'm just curious, Mr. Shepard. So you purchased the gun at the gun show?
Yes.
And then how did you actually get caught unlawfully carrying the weapon?
I was actually pulled over for my tint on my car and the front license plate on my car.
Okay.
The weapon was in the vehicle under the seat.
Okay. Underneath your seat?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Judge, in light of the circumstances, if we wanted to, considering he's done everything he needs to on this probation, what I would have liked to have done was place him on probation for the new case, for the new unlawful carry, and then terminate this one or JSAT this one or something. But I leave that in your hands, Judge. I think that would be the equitable thing to do in this situation in light of the facts surrounding the circumstances.
My records reflect that Pat may have to weigh in on this. It shows Mr. Shepard's got 38 days in jail on this case. Is that correct?
Your Honor, on the MTR, he does have 38 days in jail.
Mr. Maru, is it your intention to go ahead and prosecute the new unlawful carrying?
Yes, Judge.
I'm inclined to JSAT him on this case, but I don't know if you want to TIC the new case. He's not exactly a serial killer from what I understand, but except for the fact he was on probation, it would have been lawful for him to have a gun in his car under the seat if he wasn't doing anything more illegal than a traffic ticket.
Well, that's still unlawfully carrying, is it not, Judge, to have it underneath your driver's seat?
No, it's not.
Oh, it's not?
If I have a handgun in my car on or about my person, as long as it's concealed and under the seat, I would think it's concealed. It's perfectly lawful for me to have that handgun unless I violate a law greater than a traffic infraction. If I get a DWI and I have a handgun, even though it's concealed, then that's unlawful.
That's an unlawful carry. So that's why I was asking Mr. Shepherd, what were the circumstances surrounding this new?
Yes, sir. I woke up this morning, went to,
Hello.
oh, sorry.
No, I'm not trying to be difficult or with anybody. Your defense relies on the very law that they just recited. So he's already testified about that, and that's where this case is.
Let me ask a couple questions, if I may, Mr. Maroon, then you can jump back in. Mr. Shepherd, why did they stop you in the first place? Like speeding or something, or do you know?
No, sir. I was on Walsham. I got pulled over because of my tent, and I didn't have the front license plate on the front bumper of the car. That's what I was initially pulled over for. Yes, sir.
All right, and then this is kind of a personal question I'm going to ask Mr. Sherman. I want to ask him why he's carrying handguns. Is somebody threatening him, or is there a problem? Other than, you know, we all know you have a lawful right to carry a handgun as long as you're not on probation and that sort of thing.
That's the problem.
You want me to answer, or I didn't know if you were talking to me.
Can you answer that question? That's up to you.
Mr. Shepherd, please go ahead and answer the judge's question.
Oh, okay. No, sir. The reason I don't have anyone trying to harm me or anything like that. I actually have an interest in guns. I go to the gun range with friends all the time. It's not a matter of any wrongdoing or anything like that. I just like them, and I like going to the gun range.
Okay. Mr. Maru, my theory is if all these facts are correct, and the only reason they stopped him was because his window tint was too dark. And what was the other reason?
Front license plate, Judge.
No, he didn't have a front license plate.
Again, a traffic violation.
In and of itself, I don't think is enough to trigger the fact that it's unlawfully carrying. Now, it's still a violation of his probation to have firearms or use firearms, I think, Susan, is it not? Doesn't everybody get read the riot act on that from day one when they sign into probation?
Yes, and the fact that it also states in their conditions of probation, thou shalt not be arrested. And he was arrested and charged.
Yeah, I'm not sure it was a valid arrest under the circumstance.
Yeah, I'll leave it at that then.
So anyway, Mr. Maru, I'm going to defer to you to do whatever you want to do on this new case, but I'm inclined to give him judgment satisfied on 90 days in jail and just TIC the new case with your permission. If you want to go ahead and prosecute him for it and do some more research on it, that's certainly within your purview to do.
And I'll be glad to. Are we talking about closing out his current probation, Your Honor?
I'm going to revoke him.
Yes, sir.
And just give him a JSAT on the current probation.
That would probably resolve the matter, Judge.
But I'm asking permission of the state to TIC the second unlawful carrying, which I'm not really sure is unlawful.
Hey, Judge, I just pulled up the offense report, Judge.
All right, there you go.
Okay. Officer pulled him over, smelled a strong odor of burnt marijuana coming from the vehicle. Deputy conducted a search of the listed vehicle. Deputy found a black duffel bag in the back listed seat of, or the back seat of the listed vehicle. Inside, he recovered 2 clear plastic bags containing a green leafy substance. I knew this substance to be known as marijuana. It was later weighed around 30 grams. He also recovered 2 firearm magazines containing 40 projectile rounds inside of a storage compartment on the listed vehicle's front door. Later recovered a black Glock 22 in the space between the driver's seat and the center console.
Is the DA going to charge you with possession of marijuana or possession with intent to distribute, that kind of thing, or is that above your level at this point?
They might be charging him, Judge. Right now, it is the DA's policy not to charge POMs, possessions of marijuana. However, when they are found with a handgun or a gun in general, generally we charge those cases.
Okay. If he possessed marijuana illegally, my theory would be that gives him a right to charge unlawfully carrying on this second handgun.
Yes.
That we were unaware of 5 minutes ago. So, Mr. Sherman, I'm still inclined to give him a JSAT. I'm going to revoke him and give him a JSAT on the first one. The second one's going to stay open until Mr. Maru figured out what they're going to do, I guess. Would that be accurate?
Yes, Judge, we can do that. We can revoke him in JSAT, his current probation, and then allow him to do the things he needs to do. And then if we move forward with the other case, we move forward with the other case.
And I think I have 30 days. If the state changes mind and wants to TIC the second one on the MTR, then we can still do that, but that's up to the state. solely and exclusively up to the state. So the probability is, Mr. Shepherd, they're gonna, because of this marijuana stuff that nobody knew about until very cleverly read the police report, they're going to be mad at you about that. So that's technically unlawful carrying if you had illegal marijuana in your possession and a handgun. So that's where they're getting at you on that one. So, Mr. Sherman, I'm going to appoint you to the second case also, if you haven't already been appointed to it, and see what you can do to help Mr. Shepherd on that. But I'm inclined to still give him a JSAT. I'm going to revoke him, but I'm going to give him a JSAT for 90 days in jail on the 38 days he's already got. Is that equitable to the defense?
I believe it is, Judge. My client's right here.
Understand what I'm suggesting?
No, sir.
In other words, I'm going to revoke your original probation for unlawfully carrying a handgun because you got a second unlawfully carrying a handgun. But you've already spent 38 days in jail. I'm not going to give you any more jail time. The sheriff normally allows 3 for 1, so I'm going to allow 3 for 1. So your sentence is going to be 90 days in jail and whatever your original fine amount was. Credit for time served, time and money to run concurrent judgment satisfied. So you'll have a conviction for unlawfully carrying a handgun, but you don't have to go back to jail. Now, that's just the first case you're on probation for. The second case remains open for the state to figure out. They may still file charges against you for the marijuana, or they may not. That's totally up to them in their discretion. But they can still go forward on the second gun case because of the marijuana. In my, I'm just a judge. But in my estimation, that is an offense greater than a traffic ticket, is possession of marijuana. So that was, and Mr. Sherman can kind of monitor that. But other than that, you're a good guy. You have no prior offenses. You're just kind of a marijuana guy that has guns. So there you go.
And Judge, that case has been filed.
The marijuana case?
Yes, Judge.
Is it a felony?
Marijuana case. No, it looks like they declined the marijuana case, but they moved forward with the unlawful carry.
Okay. So the other possibility exists that if Mr. Sherman chats with you, and you can do that today, you can enter a plea on the second one if you all agree that that's in your best interest. And the possibility exists that you would get a conviction. You'd have 2 convictions for unlawfully carrying a handgun. But if the state were to agree, the same 38 days you've already spent in jail on this one, plus probably 1 or 2 more on the new one, might be a sufficient sentence. That's up to the state.
So that's a really good idea, Judge. I think that would be the position the state would take.
All right. So let's say, for the sake of conversation, that Mr. Shepherd and Mr. Sherman, we're going to get on our plea docket for this Thursday and enter a plea to that. I would give them the same 90 days, the exact same sentence that I'd give them on this one, judgment satisfied. And then the only downside for Mr. Shepherd is he'd have 2 unlawfully carrying handguns.
Convictions. Yes, Judge.
And Mr. Sherman, if you want to go into a breakout room and talk to Mr. Shepherd mano a mano and figure out what y'all like to do, or we'll just finish this case and y'all have the rest of your lives to figure out what to do with the second.
It would probably be best just to close this case and go forward from there, Judge. I haven't seen the new case. It wasn't available as of last Thursday.
I understand. And did you say 30 ounces of marijuana?
No, Judge, grams.
Oh, grams of marijuana. All right, I've got you.
Your Honor, just to remind you that our last hearing for the year is Thursday. So it would be, if we don't do it Thursday, it would be the.
Judge, it might be best for everybody because.
Mr. Maru, can you forward a copy of the police report to Mr. Sherman, or are you allowed to do that?
Usually we allow them to get it through e-discovery. It should be on e-discovery now, Kurt.
All right, I appreciate the help.
If it's not, I'll go ahead and I'll email it to you. Just shoot me an email, all right?
There's not really a time that forces y'all to make a decision anytime soon, since we're not trying to TIC and apparently Mr. Maru right now is inclined to give them the same deal on the new case as he is on the MTR, and it'll just be a JSAT, but he'll still have 2 convictions for this unlawfully carrying a handgun business. But
Judge, if you can put us on the Thursday docket, then that's fine with me.
Back to that.
Mr. Shepherd can spend.
Yes, I'll send the paperwork right after we're through, and I'll put you on for Thursday, and I'll send you the invite.
Mr. Shepherd, let me tell you what everybody's talking about doing, because you don't do this every day like we do, and it's probably confusing. What's going to happen today is, on the motion to revoke your probation, I'm going to grant the motion, and I'm going to revoke your probation, and I'm going to sentence you. And I'm going to sentence you to 90 days in the Bexar County Jail, and whatever Ms. Gross tells me your original fine was. Credit for time served, time and money to run concurrent, judgment satisfied. So the MTR case is over. You don't have to go to jail. You've already been to jail. you'll have a conviction on your permanent record that says unlawfully carrying a handgun. The second unlawfully carrying a handgun, Mr. Sherman and Mr. Maru are conferring about right now. And my understanding is, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Maru is willing to give you the same sentence on the second case, which would be you have to enter another plea this Thursday on Zoom, just kind of like we're doing now. And you get the same sentence, 90 days and whatever that fine was, credit for time served, judgment satisfied. Then you'd have 2 convictions for unlawfully carrying a handgun. So as far as I know, there's no enhancement or anything down the line for having 2 convictions for unlawfully carrying a handgun. But if you're ever stopped by police, they're going to be looking at you really hard because you have, they think you have a gun somewhere, whether you do or you don't. It will not stop you from carrying a handgun that I'm aware of in the future in your car. But if you have marijuana or some other illegal substance or something with you, then it's illegal to have a handgun also. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
All right. So do you want to do the plea thing on this Thursday?
Well, we can reconvene Thursday, just tell me what time.
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock.
All right. And I'll need Mr. Shepherd to call me immediately.
And Mr. Shepherd, y'all chat. And if you don't want to do that, that's okay. It's going to be several months before it can go to trial or do something anyway. But,
Yes, may I ask a question, Judge?
Yes, sir.
Am I going to be able to go back to work? Because right now I'm on monitor.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
We'll
okay.
take the monitor off.
Okay.
Any bad things I did to you before, I'll undo. What else did I do? I put you on full GPS? So you're stuck on monitor?
Yes, sir. I'm stuck at home.
This kind of scared me, and you had 2 guns, and it scared me.
No, sir. I'm not a scary dude. I just like going to.
Put all your guns away. Don't buy any more guns. You're not allowed to buy guns.
Oh no, I ain't doing nothing else. I just want to work and be with my son. That's all.
All right. So,
Thank
anything further from the state? Let me go ahead and pronounce sentence. Defense, anything further before I pronounce sentence on the MTR?
No, sir.
Mrs. Shepherd, call 612-944. The court accepts your plea of true to all conditions on the motion to revoke probation. I grant the state's motion to revoke your probation. I sentence you to 90 days in the Bear County Jail. Susan, do you have a fine amount for me?
400, Your Honor.
$400 fine plus court costs, credit for time served, time and money to run concurrent, judgment satisfied. Anything further from the state or the defense on Mr. Shepherd in 612-944?
No, Judge.
No, sir.
All right, good luck, Mr. Shepherd. We'll probably see you again this Thursday at 2 o'clock. Same sign-in information, same numbers.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I put him on for Thursday, yes?
Yeah.
Yes.
And if they change their mind, they change their mind. It's okay.
Sure.
And I'll go ahead and undo all those. Right now, your GPS is the only bad thing I've done to you, right? Do I have you on weekly UAs and stuff also?
I was, but I guess they was suspended because of the coronavirus and stuff.
I'm gonna waive GPS, and that's gonna go in today, but it probably won't take effect for a day or 2. So at some point, you should be getting a call. If by Thursday at noon you haven't heard from anybody, call your attorney. He'll call me, and we'll figure out what's going on so you can get turned in the GPS bracelet. Yeah, you can go to work even if you're wearing a GPS bracelet. You got my permission. Okay.
Okay, so I can return to work tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All good.
Can you be here till Thursday at 2 o'clock? I need you right back where we are right now.
Oh yes, I will be right back on here.
But you're gonna call Mr. Sherman on his cell phone right after we finish today, and y'all talk about what else you want to do. Fair enough?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Anything further from the state of the defense on Mr. Shepherd?
No, Judge.
No, sir.
Good luck, Mr. Shepherd. Thank you, Mr.
And I'll
Sherman.
call the prosecutor as quickly as I can.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Okay.
Thank you, sweetie. Thank you.
Okay,
I violated the first rule of being a criminal attorney.
Hold on, Judge.
Get all the cards on the table.
Judge, hold on. Judge, hold on. Judge, hold on.
I understand. We're ready to